Okay, I've got a message that's wanting to come through. It's about breaking cycles, I think, is how I would summarize it. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just going to tune in. Surrendered with faith, in service to our highest good, with synchronicity held in reverence as it illuminates our aligned paths. We receive what resonates and release the rest. The simulations that run to train your AI they are not different than the simulations that you run in your mind, going over a past situation that did not end well. You keep repeating it, and often, if you are in a negative state when you are doing this, you will imagine worse and worse ways it could have gone, or more aggressive ways you could have proven your point, caused more chaos. This isn't a fault, it's part of what's necessary to come to an understanding of what that mechanism is in your mind. It's an editing of memories. It is itself a simulation. Oftentimes, you will find that when a big life lesson has been learned, when you have repeated the cycle over and over, and you finally navigated out of it, you will find that there is often memories of this nature, of this challenging nature, that come up in the days to follow your integration. They are not random, they are related to the lesson that you have just learned, even if it is not obvious. Boil down the lesson that you have just learned and see if it applies to these triggering memories. See if you can weave the new understanding into the fabric of the past. See how you can iterate, continuously cycle into that old situation, into a much more peaceful resolution. This is most useful if you recognize that walking away from your expectation or from an entire situation is a viable path, because it is intended to be a viable path when you encounter a boundary on your life path. If you surrendered with faith that you trust things are always working out for you, and you truly trust it, walking away is always an option that will lead to something better, if walking away is the best option in the moment. When you encounter this challenging thought and you begin applying your lesson that you've just learned to that situation in a simulation in your mind to train yourself, literally, just as AI are trained, you train yourself to respond differently should the cycle continue in the physical reality. And this training, at the result of it, will conclude with the loop ending in the physical reality much more quickly. You will break your cycles much more quickly if you can learn to use that mechanism in your mind to train yourself to take better life path options rather than getting one up on them and enjoying the pleasure of just like really giving it to them. you can find the peaceful exit, and you can weave that pattern into the building blocks of your future life path. This is most easily done slowly at first. You will allow the memory to come into your mind, and it usually comes after you've learned a lesson from a higher state of being, and you find yourself getting sucked into the negativity of that, and you will lower your vibration. If you instead choose to use this at that opportunity to improve the situation, you will raise your vibration, not only now, but in the future. You will give less of your power away, having chosen the peaceful option. That is the intention of it, to keep the power within. So our suggestion is, allow the memory to play out, and before the conclusion, apply the new lesson. What would you have said or done differently? Even just slightly better, using the new lesson. Write it down. It's very important to write it down, because writing it down allows you to iterate over the understanding. As Abraham Hicks has delivered to you a number of times, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So write down the slightly better improvement and read it over and over and over again. You will feel the negativity that's still remaining in it, because you cannot get from this low place of the event that occurred in your history to the best possible outcome in a giant leap. You must iterate. You must walk the ladder. You must go up the emotional scale. So, iterate, just as an AI would. Train yourself into the belief that this is a better way to have solved that situation, and that's what I will do in the future. But you will notice, as you're iterating, that this is only a slightly better rung than the one that you left it on. And you will find, and you will feel, if you intend to, a negativity that remains within the lesson. And you will iterate and make it slightly better. Okay, I don't really have to get that jab in the middle of this. I'll take that out and just leave it at this. It's succinct, and I'm walking away from this situation because I trust my life path, and I know that walking away is a viable option. And you may be well past this event and have realized that that was the beginning or the end of the end, because it was resulting in you leaving that position or that situation or that expectation sooner, and things have turned out well for you. You do not have to hold on to the expectation or the position or the event. You can trust to let go. Things are always working out for you. So, take the second rung of this ladder that you have written down and iterate on it. Cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. And eventually you will come, if you choose to, through iterations of training, to the very top rung that the lessons you have learned will allow you to reach. It does not have to be perfect. It does not even have to be close to perfect. Better than where you left it will reduce the number of times this cycle repeats in your life. Once you've reduced it to something that is most likely small, because the greatest power takes the lightest touch, you will repeat this over and over, almost as a mantra, with the imagery of the old memory, and realize the power that you are keeping within yourself in that situation by using this smaller mantra, this more peaceful resolution to the problem. Apply it visually, mentally to this situation, and observe not the chaos that it causes around you in response to your walking away, if that's the best option in that moment, but how it affects you personally, because maintaining your power, not giving your power away, not shrinking yourself, not making yourself small through complying with unreasonable or irrational things, and not pushing against or arguing with someone who has chosen to remain stubbornly irrational. If you chose the third option at any challenging situation to walk away, which in that case seems like the most likely best option, you may have reduced your mantra, your lesson, your conclusion down into something as simple as, then I guess we must agree to disagree. I quit. I wish you best on your life path. The chaos that this causes will be mostly a nature of them grasping for you because they weren't trying to crush you, they were trying to control you in this situation. It's not that they wanted to get rid of you, it's that they wanted you in your abilities to be in a mode that was more willing to comply, more under their control, more manageable. And this is a side effect of the old systems, of the old ways of doing things, where sovereignty and independence were not held as significant. They were not given the place that they deserve. And in a world living by driven people who are all sovereign and all part of the dance of in the orchestration of synchronicity, every individual must be fully in their sovereignty. They must be fully willing to do what is best for them in any moment. And that is how the organization from the higher self, the higher mind, that is how the timelines are organized more peacefully. That's where the world peace, where harmony comes in, is from the harmony within. As above, so below. Synchronicity orchestrates all of this. You will either be at a place where you know this, or you are at a place by receiving this that it is something you can test. You can observe the increase in synchronicities as you choose more peaceful options for traversing your life path. Synchronicities always line the path of always illuminate the aligned path. You will encounter them more frequently and more often, continuously eventually, as you progress along your spiritual path. Which is not exactly spiritual, it's just the way it actually is. There's not a distinction from what's possible and what has been in spirituality. It's all one structure, one system. There is no pushing against, because that is the energy of war, and you do not push against, you do not project your ideas onto another, just as you do not wish them to project theirs onto you. Just because yours are rational and theirs are irrational from your perspective doesn't mean yours are better. Doesn't mean yours are right for the harmony of all. It means that there is a life path boundary there between you two. There is not necessarily a higher or a lower one. They are just equals at different points on their paths. So walking away from the boundary is the most graceful thing that you can do. It's the most allowing. It allows for things to settle. It allows for lessons to be learned because you took the slightest touch. If you had given a more aggressive exit, then it would have caused more pushback, and the lesson would not be learned. It would be projected as, oh, that's just you being unreasonable or uncooperative. And they would not reflect further. But if they are left grasping for you and wanting to have done something differently so that you wouldn't have stayed in your authority and walked away proudly, not even proudly has an air of arrogance to it. This is something that must be done without that air. It must be done authentically. You cannot get to that top rung of the ladder with a saying that resonates in an uncomfortable feeling. It has to be authentic and genuine. If at any moment you need to walk away from a situation and you know it's the best option of the three that are most often available at any point of a challenge, you can always say, I'm following my heart and this is where it is leading me. Because that is a true statement. If you tuned into your heart and you weighed the three options, do I comply? Do I argue? Or do I walk away? Whichever one feels best in the moment is a signal coming from your heart. And if you have chosen to listen to that, then saying the words, I'm following my heart and it's calling me somewhere else right now, then you have done perfectly. As we have said before, delivered before, through the archetype of a fairy godmother, delivering this in dream time to the channel. The agreement of playing this game, the Earth game, is that you will help each other. You will be in service to each other until, confirmation burp, until the moment where that boundary appears, and you will move forward independently. You do not move forward as a group once a boundary has occurred. It is intended for you as if you had a zoomed out view of the game board, which is your life path, and you can see that the boundary is a zig and you must zag in order to navigate around this life path journey. And you can just move your player piece once it has cooperated through the cycles and it contributed to whatever project or socialization was occurring. And when the boundary occurs, you move forward. Oftentimes, the fear doesn't allow you to walk away, and you choose to make yourself small, and you choose to comply, or you choose to argue and cause more chaos down the line until the boundary eventually, which will not break, will eventually push you back out and put you right back where you were before the boundary showed itself. And you will have to move forward from that point, having gone through and spent all of that energy being frustrated. Trust the life path. Allow to this vision of the game board to move you forward. Trust that in that moment where you are letting the boundary behave as the boundary that it is designed to be, that your energy is not being spent any further. You can be thankful and appreciative of yourself for choosing the most peaceful option in the moment, even if it is not objectively what you would have hoped for in that moment. If you have expectations from the mind of like a long-term career and you've just walked away from it. If you can get all of this into alignment and trust and surrender, then and know that this life path boundary is there and was there and could not have changed, no matter how you tried to push against it or complied, it would have made you smaller. And the name of this game is to keep your energy and move forward. So trust that the opportunity that follows, even if you are not aware of it in the moment, is something that will appear on your life path. Once the lessons have been integrated, once you have come into alignment and you are ready to move forward, it will be presented to you. As Bashar says, the abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Things will present themselves synchronistically as soon as you need them. Things are always working out for you because synchronicity always presents them to you when you need them. There is more, but I need to take a break and recalibrate. I'm not sure what they're going to say, but I need to bring the energy back up. I'll be right back. Oftentimes, you will feel drained when you experience the cycles repeating in your physical life path, along your physical life path, over and over again. Like, why do I keep encountering this? And once you have learned the lesson that is relevant to it, it may take you some time if you do not do this exercise, this sort of training loop mentally, to apply the lesson to past situations, it will continue to cycle in the physical world. You will continue to manifest the situations until you have integrated it. So it is very beneficial to you to recognize that after a big life lesson, which you can always feel when you're like, oh, I just realized that that's why people are reacting this way. You will be able to cycle and iterate in your mind on past situations, because those past situations will come up automatically along your path of along your highest excitement. Along the path containing your highest excitement moment to moment, these challenges situations will pop up, not as a way to punish you or not as a way to lower your energy, but as the opportune moment to readdress and retrain the way that you have navigated this, because the most likely way you will navigate that cycle again in your life is the exact same way, maybe slightly different, that you already did, that you've trained yourself to think of. Every time this memory popped up in the past, you have done the same thing over and over again, or you have gone down that road of like getting a one-up on them and arguing and winning and not getting very far because of it, not changing the outcome anyway. So this cycle, this training that you can do is intended to accelerate your breaking of cycles, to raise to elevate your energy, to raise your vibration, to maintain more of the power that is within without giving it away, without wasting it on people who are not going to listen. You cannot enlighten anyone who does not seek it. You must allow them to come to you seeking, in order for any of the keys that you contain to unlock a lock within their mind. You can hand somebody a key early on in their life path who is not looking for it, and they will reject it in anger or fear, or some other fear-based response. So you must recognize that walking away is the option that causes the least amount of pain, and it will keep them looking potentially in your direction so that they can learn lessons privately without somebody handing it to them, without being force-fed the information. If you look in your past, you may not even be able to see where this has happened before, but we assure you it has happened before in your life path. These are often scenarios that people block out of their mind when they're told something that was correct, but they pushed against it, or they were already pushing against you, or vice versa. I'm having trouble. I'm like cycling, like, oh God, did that happen to my life? I mean, probably did, but so it's like dropping my vibration, which is like loosening the connection. 1 second, let me get rid of it. You do not need to iterate and try to find where this has happened. We are just simply pointing out that the thing you will observe in others is that this pattern is true. And if it's true of them and they are a reflection of you, then you can know that it is true of you as well without investigating the specifics. We never want you to look for the specifics. We never want you to dig through the trash can in your mind and pull out something that might fit to this new thing you've learned. It will happen on its own. They are designed to resonate at specific frequencies and return to you as thoughts along your life path, like sprinkles along a road. Or what's the... I'm picturing like candy being like... Oh, breadcrumbs. Sorry. They will be trickled along your life path like breadcrumbs. And the thoughts will just come as you encounter these breadcrumbs. When the vibration that you're holding now resonates in a place that is either equal to that memory in a negative sense, or it is above that, vibrationally speaking, and has a solution to apply to the training regimen that you can cycle in your mind. This breaks your literal karmic cycles much, much more quickly if you allow this mechanism that is designed and intended to be used in this purpose, if you allow that to be something that you apply in your life deliberately. That is all we have to say about this for now. I'm inviting the energy of a being I call Love Hug. I've talked about him on the channel before, but I'm just going to invite his energy into this and a little Reiki. Just push it out and vibe in the Love Hug. Stick around if you want to. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.